What is going on, guys? Drumvillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content. And Ultra League is here, and it's been here for over a week now, but we have not been doing well in Ultra League. We were at 2950 when Ultra League came in, and since then we've tanked down to around 2400, and we're slowly climbing back up now. But these battles are with a team that I actually used straight away when Ultra League first dropped. And we were holding steady for the first day or so at around 2900 with this team. We'd go like 2-3, we'd go 3-2, we'd get a 4-1, we'd get a 1-4. And we were just bouncing around at the 2900 rating for about a day, and then we mixed up the team and then we tanked massively. So I thought I'd bring you guys some battles showing this team, as it's probably the most success I've had with a team this time around in Ultra League. So this is a triple flying team. We've got Shadow Dragonite on the lead, and that's running Dragon Breath, Hurricane and Dragon Claw. We've got Talonflame on the safe swap and Drifblim on the safe swap. Depending on the lead that we see, we can use either of those as a safe swap. Talonflame is running the legacy move of Incinerate, and it's running Brave Bird and Flame Charge, and Drifblim is running Hex, Icy Wind and Shadow Ball. Now, Talonflame and Drifblim aren't quite at 2500. The Talonflame is one level off, as it needs to be Best Buddy to hit 2499 at that IV spread, which we still haven't bothered getting it up to Best Buddy yet. And Drifblim is at around the 2450 CP point. So Talonflame does have to be an XL in this team to work, as it doesn't get anywhere near 2500 at level 40. Drifblim doesn't have to be XL. You can run a level 40 100% Drifblim, and it's around 2382 CP, I think, if you do that, and it still performs incredibly well without being powered up with any XL candies. But Drifblim does just get even bulkier if you do power it up towards the 2500 CP point. So without any further ado, let's jump into some battles. And the first lead that we pull is a Roserade. Now, Roserade's a very good lead for this team. Any grass is a good lead for this team because everything on the team handles grass very well. But they're swapping an Empoleon, and we haven't got the best answer for an Empoleon. Drifblim can struggle, especially when it's behind on energy, because you either have to go for a double resisted Icy Wind to drop the attack, or go for a Shadow Ball, and then you can get far down with waterfalls like that. So we've got a shield advantage, but we've just lost Drifblim in its entirety. This Empoleon's still here. We should really have stayed in with Dragonite and not felt too much obligation to swap out straight away, because like we said, everything on the team handles grass types very well. So we might as well have stayed in with Dragonite, done quite a bit of damage, and then maybe swapped out late into Drifblim. Maybe even just stayed in with Dragonite entirely and kind of sacked Dragonite just to make sure that we chipped the Empoleon down enough. And they've got a Talonflame in back. This is kind of scary, because I would say Drifblim's probably my favourite response to Talonflame on the team. Dragonite does very well if it's healthy, and we get Brave Birded. That absolutely smashes us to pieces. We get annihilated there. They catch a Flame Charge on Roserade, but we're so low, we're gonna have to throw another one just to get rid of it, because we might even get farmed down by Bullet Seed at that point. The Talonflame comes back in, and it's going to be able to take us out here, and we're going to take an L on the first game here. This was one of the first games running this team, and before we realised that really if we get an Empoleon swap in, we're probably better off sticking around with Dragonite to chip it down, especially if it's swapping in from a grass lead, because Talonflame and Drifblim will still do so well. And second matchup, we've got a Shadow Dragonite mirror match. Now, you've never seen two Pokemon take each other down quite so fast as two Shadow Dragonites Dragon Breathing the hell out of each other. But we win CMP tie, get the Dragon Claw off, so we get switch advantage, which is nice, because now we can lock Talonflame onto the Abomasnow, and they've got an Umbreon in back. So we're kind of glad that they've swapped it in here, because Drifblim hates Umbreon. Drifblim is amazing, so we're going to do some chip damage and then bring in Umbreon anyway, bring in Drifblim anyway, because Drifblim struggles against Abomasnow as well. So we might as well spend the Drifblim here, get some Icy Winds off, debuff this Umbreon, and just slowly start to wear it down, because Umbreon is really the biggest threat to us at this point. Now, if we'd have lost CMP tie in the first matchup against the Dragonite, I would recommend you let it go down and then farm down with Talonflame or Drifblim. If it's a regular Dragonite, so it's got a bit more health, I'd be tempted to shield, but when it's Shadow Dragonite and you both get each other so low by the time you're throwing that Dragon Claw, I'd be tempted to let it go and farm down whenever I had him back, like they did when they farmed down for energy on Abomasnow. Right, so now we're still pretty healthy with Talonflame, so we threw a Flame Charge just to get rid of the Abomasnow, and we're hoping to survive long enough to get to 2 Flame Charges, because we've already amped his attack up once, but we're not going to be able to farm down with Incinerate, so we're going to have to get to 2 Flame Charges just to finish it off. And you know, Umbreons are spammy. You know how much I love Umbreon in the Great League. It's a very strong Pokemon. It's a very strong Pokemon in Ultra League once it's XL'd out. You're going to see we're going to have just enough health to take the Foul Plays and Snarls, get to a double Flame Charge here, and we'll be able to take the win. And you can see XL Umbreon is able to push this match very close despite us winning Switch Advantage and having Talonflame onto an Abomasnow on their team. They were still able to bring it super close, but GG's. So, jumping into the 4th matchup, and we've got an Umbreon lead. Now, like we said, Umbreon is super bulky, so super strong in Ultra League. It doesn't hit that hard, but Shadow Dragonite is very, very squishy. Look how much that Foul Play does. It's ridiculous damage, and it's super bulky Umbreon, so it should be able to take this Dragon Claw, no worries. We wanted to build up a bit, maybe make them feel threatened by a possible Outrage, maybe, but they don't shield, they don't fall for the bait, and we're just going to build up and throw Dragon Claws at this because we don't really want Drifblim to see this thing, and if they've got an Umbreon in lead, there's a good chance the back might be weak to Drifblim, but they come in with a lower Ninetales to farm us down, and this is kind of scary because although we've got Talonflame, which does very well, actually it does well against XLO and Ninetales, but it doesn't dominate it, and if Alolan Ninetales has an energy advantage, it can spam Weather Balls which hit for neutral, and they do respectable chunks, and they bring in a Swampert, and Shadow Swampert is obviously bad news for Talonflame. Drifblim and Swampert can kind of go toe to toe, but the Swampert will often let the first charge move go through because they expect you to throw an Icy Wind to debuff them. And we're going to have to shield one of these Hydro Cannons, otherwise we're going to get absolutely wrecked by these Shadow Hydro Cannons. And we decide to just go straight for Shadow Ball. Like, we're not expecting them to shield. We're thinking maybe they think we're going to throw an Icy Wind, and they let it go through, and they get taken out. So we might have a chance at clutching this game. We're going to throw a Shadow Ball again. We're not here to bait, we're not here to nerf the attack. We're going for all damage, get this thing as low as possible. But this Alolan Ninetales is farming up very nice amount of energy. That was very good counting on their part. It's going to be super close on whether Talonflame can take this thing out. We've still got to get to another Flame Charge really to finish this off. And if they've got 2 Weather Balls, we're going to get taken out. Yeah, they've got to farm way too much on Drifblim, and getting that farm against the Dragonite in the end of the first matchup was just too much. GG. So let's take a look at the next matchup, and we've got an Escavalier lead. Now, Escavalier lead is pretty decent for this team. Shadow Dragonite does fairly well against Escavalier, but Talonflame and Drifblim both do incredibly well against Escavalier. Drifblim absolutely walls all the energy and all the moves from an Escavalier, and Talonflame hits for double super effective with Incinerate, so it absolutely melts it. We don't know why they stayed in when we swapped to Drifblim. Got zero idea why they would do that. Really, they should have swapped out, because Drifblim on Escavalier is such a dominant matchup. But we take them out and we take Switch advantage, I guess, and they bring in a Swampert, and we're just going to be happy to throw some Icy Winds, debuff this thing if they want to get cocky and overcharge. They do throw it bang on the right time, just as we get to another Icy Wind. We're going to bring in Dragonite, and we're going to throw a Dragon Claw straight away, because they built up quite a bit of excess energy, so there's going to be pressure to shield this, to save that energy. So then we're going to go for an aggressive farm down. I think we're going to shield once though, just in case they do have Sludge Wave. No, we let it through and it is a Sludge Wave. Ooh, hits us like a truck. And they've got Tangrowth in the back. And Tangrowth is a very good choice in Ultra League. Like a lot, Ultra League is very, very versatile now. There's a lot of Pokemon you can use that all perform well. And Tangrowth performs well against Talonflame because Rock Slide will almost one-shot it, because it's double super effective. And it's quite spammy because Tangrowth has access to Vine Whip, so it gets some good energy generation. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Flame Charge here, because I'm pretty sure they'll get to another Rock Slide if we try and do one more Incinerate. And now we've got a full health Talonflame. We can take one Hydro Cannon from a Swampert, but we're not going to need to. I'll throw the Flame Charge, get this thing out of here, and that's going to be a GG. Now, a lot of people aren't expecting a triple flyer team. If they see a Dragonite and then they see the Drifblim or Talonflame, they're not expecting you to have a third counter to something like a Venusaur in back. And Venusaur is a very popular pick, it's a very strong pick in Ultra League, so having a full team that counters it can come in handy, especially if they save a Venusaur in the back, hoping it can sweep what you've got in back, and then you've still got a Drifblim or Talonflame and it just absolutely shuts them down. Now, in this match we've got a Talonflame lead, which is good for Dragonite. It resists the fire damage, but we did have to shield the Brave Bird because that would definitely have taken us out. And they swap into an Abomasnow and we've got Talonflame on this thing, and we don't want to eat a second Weather Ball, so we're going to throw Flame Charge straight away to take it out. But they do shield, which is absolutely wild that they choose to shield. I think, yeah, we're going to shield this. We don't want a chance getting taken out. We want to keep some health so we can threaten what comes back in. It's probably going to be a Talonflame, yeah. We're going to go ahead and throw a Flame Charge. They sneak and Incinerate through, which is kind of scary. And they shield, but we don't mind getting taken out here because now we can farm down with Drifblim and debuff whatever they've got in back. And it's a Venusaur. Shadow Venusaur, the opponent concedes, GG. What did I say about people keeping Venusaurs in the back? And then you just come in, shut them down, and you get quite a few people that quit. Now this is an awful lead. Clefable is decimatingly bad for a Shadow Dragonite. It would absolutely get melted by charm damage. So we swap into Drifblim. We feel like Drifblim is the safe swap position against a Clefable because Talonflame does better against Clefable than Drifblim does. And we'll throw an Icy Wind to debuff the charm. We're going to throw another one, get a shield out of them, which is nice. Now I think we're going to shield the Medium Ash. Is it a Medium Ash? Yeah, we're going to shield it up because I feel like it's worth it at this point. They bring in a Dragonite and I think they're hoping to farm down before we get to a move, but we get to an Icy Wind, which is amazing because Icy Wind would one-shot a Shadow Dragonite, and now we can bring in our Dragonite, and we're probably going to let this... Do we let this go through? Yeah, we'll let it go through, which is a bit risque because even debuffed, a Shadow Dragonclaw against a Shadow Dragonite is going to absolutely wreck us. But we're putting it all on Talonflame. We think Talonflame's going to be able to sweep this game for us. I'm going to shield the Dragonclaw, even though it's debuffed. We're going to throw a Flame Charge. No, yeah, we'll throw a Flame Charge here. Thought we were going to go for a farm down there. I was sweating for a second for my own sake there. And now we've got a bit of energy. We know there's a Clefable. It's just whatever that third Pokemon is. It's a Charizard. And they catch the Brave Bird on Clefable. That is an absolute god tier catch by them. So we're going to swap into Drifblim, not really sure why, because we just clear our own attack buff, which is awful for us. We're going to eat a Dragonclaw. Can we still get to a Brave Bird? We can. Is this going to take out the Charizard? It's going to be close since we are no longer attack buffed. It does. We take the win, GG. I thought we'd thrown that match there. It has been a few days since I played these games, so I don't remember them exactly as they went. Now you'll find that Dragonite is a very hard win or hard lose kind of lead. And Machamp is a winning lead. You do have to watch out for Rock Slide, it would one-shot Dragonite, but also the Dragon Breath damage is so oppressive, the Machamp will have to shield Dragon Claws to get off moves, so really you're in an advantageous position. And they swap out into an Alolan Muck, and we're very happy to see this here, because Drifblim, again, hates the Dark types, you know, because it's resisting the Ghost damage. We go for the farm down, so we've got so much energy on this Dragonite. We're just going to unload Dragon Claw spam on this Machamp that's come back in, and we think they shielded that. Must just be the visual glitch where they use a shield but it doesn't show it. They can bait us with a cross trap because it would take us out, and we've still got so much energy left to throw. So shield will throw a Dragon Claw, and now it's 0 shields left in this matchup. I'm going to bring in Drifblim, and this is obviously a little scary because Machamp has access to Rock Slide, but it won't one-shot Drifblim. Drifblim is an absolute unit. We overcharge, and it looked like a Venusaur in back that they've got there that they swapped to yet, but it's a Venusaur, so we're looking really good to close out this match. We're going to double debuff, and then they have to throw energy to get rid of the Drifblim. And if they do, we can farm down with Talonflame and get to a Flame Charge to take out the Machamp, because it is pretty energy dry, but we're actually able to farm down with Drifblim. Machamp can't farm down a Drifblim because it's triple resisting the counters, so it's a GG to us. Up now against Jazam 2000, and I think this matchup is another Umbreon lead, yeah. So if you do get an Umbreon lead, even though Umbreon does beat Shadow Dragonite in even shield scenarios, I would say it's worth sticking in, because you really do not want to get this Umbreon caught on your Drifblim, because Drifblim really struggles against it. It struggles to get rid of it. You're gonna have to be throwing Icy Winds, which do not much damage to an Umbreon because it's an absolute tank. So you might as well stay in, drag out shields if you can tempt them to. I would say it's worth spending a shield, especially if you get a shield back, which we're going to try and tempt them to do here. We don't. So now they're bringing a Clefable to farm us down. There seems to be a strong correlation of Umbreons with Charmers in the back, because I guess they know that the Umbreon's weak to fighting, and so they're defending it against Machamps. And we're bringing Talonflame, and they've got a Drifblim. Now, I don't think we need to shield this. This put an Icy Wind. Oh, it's a Shadow Ball. Okay, that's a reasonable shield. And we're going to bring in our Drifblim. And now we're down 0 shields, but they have to throw a Shadow Ball to take us out. So we might as well throw the Icy Wind straight away, debuff, and we might just survive a Shadow Ball. Yeah, we just survive just because we debuffed them. And now we've got a 0 shield Talonflame against a 2 shield Clefable, but we've got nearly 2 Flame Charges already ready to go. So we're going to throw straight away. We're going to throw these Flame Charges to get the attack ramped up. Now we're going to go for, might as well go for a farm down now, because they let one through. I think they realised that we might get to a third move and they'd have to take one. So really they should have let the first one through rather than the second, and we're just able to farm down and take the win. GG. Really looked like we might have been screwed in that matchup, and sometimes going down 2 shields early on is necessary to get the advantage that you need. Sometimes it can backfire, but in that matchup it was good for us. And this matchup we had a Toxicroak lead, and I remember this matchup. This is an absolutely nuts matchup. So they swap into a Shadow Snorlax, and we're thinking we might as well stay in because we want Drifblim on the Toxicroak. Drifblim walls Toxicroak. It triple resist counter, double resist Mud Bomb, and double resist Sludge Bomb. So we're staying with Dragonite, get switch advantage, and put Drifblim on Toxicroak. We both spent a shield, so we're feeling pretty confident in this match. It just depends what that third Pokemon is, and it's a Lapras, and it farms us down before we get to Dragon Claw. So now we're panicking, because we know Drifblim has a very strong matchup against Toxicroak, which is great, but we have to deal with this Lapras, which the Ice Shards hit Drifblim for super effective and Talonflame for neutral. The Surf is super effective against Talonflame. This thing is so bulky, so we're not too sure what to do. We might as well spend the shield here because Drifblim definitely doesn't need one to beat Toxicroak. The Toxicroak swaps in, so now we're hoping to beat this Toxicroak with enough energy to threaten the Lapras with a Shadow Ball, to then either get the shield or take it out. And if they shield, we throw the Flame Charge from Talonflame and hopefully take out the Lapras. So we're going to go straight for a Shadow Ball here, which should take out Toxicroak. It does. Got a nice bit of energy left, and we're able to win CMP tie. And we're going to throw the Shadow Ball. It's going to take out the Lapras. They do shield, which is great. And I'm pretty sure we had the Flame Charge ready on Talonflame. I'm not sure. This is going to be very, very close. We swap into Talonflame, we get the Flame Charge off. This should be enough to take out the Lapras. It's not quite, and they get off the charge move. This is going to take us out. So now it's can Drifblim farm down Lapras with a Hex. We take each other out and it's a tie. Oh, we were feeling so good about that match. And at the last second, that Lapras is such an unusual pick at this point in Ultra League, but it's still such a strong pick. So we got another Talonflame lead now. And like we said, Talonflame's a good lead. Might as well stay in. Drifblim kind of goes toe-to-toe with Talonflame. And obviously, our Talonflame would be in a tied-up matchup. So we might as well stay with Dragonite though, just because we resist the Incinerates. Look at the difference in damage we're putting out here. They throw a Flame Charge and bail into Kingdra. We're going to throw a Dragon Claw because this will do massive damage if it goes unshielded. Now we can swap into Drifblim. Drifblim does pretty well against the dragons just because the Icy Wind hits for neutral and debuffs. And I like the Drifblim Kingdra matchup. It's not particularly, it's a very even matchup. Like if the Kingdra throws Outrage here, it can take us out, and it does throw the Outrage. It won't quite knock us out, but then they can farm us down with Dragon Breath. We're not particularly stressed. We know he'll have another Icy Wind here and get the last shield out of them. So we cannot farm down with Talonflame because Kingdra double resists the Incinerate, but now we've got that extra bit of chip damage from Dragonite. It would, but they throw an Octazooka, so that's fine. We've been debuffed though, so we should really swap out to Talonflame as soon as, and it's an Umbreon in the back, and this is okay for us. We can get to Flame Charge and then throw a Brave Bird, and I think those two charge moves combined will take out an Umbreon, and we're safe to let at least one foul play go through. Does a respectable chunk, but it's not super threatening like it is against the Dragonite. We might shield this. No, we're going to save that shield because if we're going to throw a Brave Bird, we might need the shield for whatever charge move we might have to eat in the last second. Puts him back. It's their own Talonflame that's almost dead, and they concede the match. GG. I think they'd have had a good shot at farming us down there, so I'm not sure why they quit. They might as well have seen that through at that end point, but either way, GG's. So, Swampert lead. Swampert lead, again, a very good lead for Dragonite. Dragonite does very well against all the starters. It does very well against Venusaur, does well against Swampert, does well against Typhlosion, against Charizard. Unless it's a Dragon Breath Charizard, of course. And the Swampert builds up quite a lot of energy, but we're not feeling particularly threatened by a potential Sludge Wave, so we don't shield. And Shadow Dragonite cannot really take two Hydro Cannons, which is one disadvantage to running the Shadow over a non-Shadow, and also we get greedy, so we have to shield another Hydro Cannon, and they swap out into a Gallade, and we figure let's just go straight for the Hurricane, because if they don't shield this it will annihilate them, but they do shield. Now we can bring in Talonflame, and both Talonflame and Drifblim do very well against Gallade. They both wall the charge moves off nicely, but we figure since we've seen the Swampert, we might as well spend Talonflame and then save the Drifblim for whatever's in the back. I find Drifblim is a better closer just because of that Icy Wind, but that's not always the way it works out. And it's a Typhlosion, and we lose CMP Ty, which kind of sucks because we would have loved to get off that Brave Bird. We're going to get Blast Burned into next week. And Drifblim, like we've said, is an absolute unit, but we catch a Blast Burn on Dragonite. One thing about Incinerate users is they are incredibly easy to predict when they're going to throw charge moves. They swap in the Swampert, we're going to Icy Wind to get this thing out of here. We can still survive a Blast Burn from Typhlosion, get off a Shadow Ball, and we should be able to take it out. Typhlosion's got reasonable bulk, but not massive bulk. It can't take a Shadow Ball at half health anyway, and that's a GG. Yeah, I think one of the biggest disadvantages to Incinerate users is that it's easy to predict when they're going to throw charge moves to catch them. And here we've got a Gallade lead, and really this is a good lead for Dragonite and for Talonflame and for Drifblim, but Talonflame and Drifblim both do better against Gallade just because the confusion damage hits so hard on Shadow Dragonite. It really chipping away at us. We're not going to shield the Leaf Blades. It's not really worth it when it's doing roughly the same damage as one confusion, but we get farmed down, which is not that scary. I think we're going to bring in... Now we bring in Talonflame, and they swap in an Umbreon aggressively. So we're very happy we didn't bring in Drifblim, really. We're happy we're not giving away that we've got Drifblim. So we're just going to stay in here with Talonflame and deal with this Umbreon as best we can, and then hope that Drifblim can finish off whatever's in the back. So I'm going to throw a second Flame Charge here. We're not bothered about throwing Brave Bird just yet because we want to be able to survive one more foul play without using a shield. And I think they're at 2 foul plays now, so the player going to throw back to back. Yeah, so I think it's worth shielding this one, just to get rid of this Umbreon, because this Incinerate. Oh no, I'm going to swap into Drifblim. This was a mistake. This was a bad play. You cannot farm down an Umbreon with Hex. Like, it's super resisting those moves, and they bring in a Galarian Stunfisk, is what they've got in the back. And Galarian Stunfisk in Ultra League, you know, XL Stunfisk is super strong, super bulky. It's got the rock slides, but you can see it's not that attack weighted. It does less than half health to a Drifblim, which means they have to throw 3 rock slides to get us out of here, because you cannot farm down Drifblim with mud shots. So this isn't the worst position. I'm able to swap out and throw a Flame Charge immediately on Talonflame to get this last shield out of them, but then they've got energy on the Gallade, which we don't mind. We're happy for them to use, because now we can farm down Gallade with the Drifblim. Oh, it's going to be super close. We've got like 1 HP and a Dream, and I think we make a mess of this at the end, if I remember this rightly. They come in, and we farm down the Umbreon, which is nuts, and then we throw Icy Wind, but you could see we had both moves ready. Now, you get used to seeing Icy Wind being ready one hex before Shadow Ball, but once you've thrown several charge moves, sometimes they line up in energy so you can throw both. And if we'd have thrown the Shadow Ball, we'd have taken the win, but it's a GG either way. So let's take a look at Gengar lead. Now, Gengar's pretty scary in general in Ultra League. It can have access to Focus Blast, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, you know, nukes that hit different things very hard. And obviously Dragonite even has to worry about the Shadow Punch, but also Gengar gets melted by Dragon Breath. So they swap out to a Drifblim, and we're happy to throw a Dragon Claw to just get a shield out of them. And now we're going to bring in our Drifblim, because we can take 1 Shadow Ball, but they throw Icy Wind, which is really nice, because that means that we're even less low on health. We're going to throw our own Icy Wind here, and this might get a shield now. So if they throw a Shadow Ball here, they can take us out. I think if they throw Icy Wind, we'll be very low. It's an Icy Wind, they might just be able to farm us down. Yeah, but they're not going to have energy to get to a move, which isn't too bad. Coming with Dragonite, get a little bit extra energy. They come in with Gengar, we've got another Dragon Claw ready to throw straight away. We're just going to count their moves, and I disagree with this play. We should probably have thrown Dragon Claw before they got to another Shadow Punch, but we thought we can farm down, get to a nuke to threaten whatever's in back, and it's a Shiftry. Now, I haven't seen many XL Shiftries in Ultra League, and this might be in fact, I think this is the only one I've seen. And we're a little anxious we're going to get to a Leaf Blade, so we just throw a Dragon Claw, get some nice chip damage, and then we should swap in Talonflame and really let them... Oh, no, we're going to take this move, but then Talonflame is going to take this winner for us, and it's going to be a GG. And I know what you're thinking with this team. How does it deal with an Alolan Ninetales lead? And honestly, I didn't see a single Alolan Ninetales running this team, so I cannot tell you how it deals with it. But speaking of XL monsters, here's Jellicent. Now, if Jellicent's running Ice Beam, then it can obviously one-shot us, although Shadow Ball probably would one-shot a Shadow Dragonite as well. But it's got Bubble as a fast move, which is... Well, we're happy to see Bubble because it just does a lot less damage to Shadow Dragonite. Shield a Shadow Ball, which is nice. And they try to catch the Dragon Claw there with Stunfisk, but we don't throw. And we're going to bring in Drifblim, because we can't bring in Talonflame. You need 2 shields, really, to bring Talonflame into Stunfisk, just so you can shield 2 Rock Slides. But Drifblim, we know we can take 2 Rock Slides without getting knocked out, so we can put a lot of pressure on that last shield. And if we do happen to get taken out by the Stunfisk, then we can bring in Talonflame and farm down, probably, because we'll be low enough. Well, the Stunfisk will be low enough in health. There's no point throwing any more Icy Winds, because Icy Wind, I think if you don't throw any Icy Winds, there's a chance that after 2 Rock Slides they can possibly farm you down. But once you've thrown 1 Icy Wind, you're not going to be able to survive more than 3 Rock Slides no matter what you do. So you might as well throw Shadow Balls at that point for big damage. We go for a super aggressive farm down with Dragonite, and we've got so many Dragon Claws to throw into this Jellicent. We get the shield, we're going to throw another Dragon Claw. This might not quite take it out. Jellicent is very bulky. And can we farm down before they get to a move? We catch on Talonflame. Is this a Shadow Ball? I think it is. It is a Shadow Ball, so that's clutch because we spare Dragonite and the opponent surrenders. I guess they didn't want to deal with the Dragonite in the back. GG. So, up now against Chris Licious. Let's see what they got, and it's a Shadow Machamp. And as we've said, Machamp struggles against Dragonite because the Dragon Breath damage is so oppressive. And they make a drastic misjudgment in this game, if this is the one I'm thinking of, because you can see they're already way below half health. And we only have to shield once. Even if they throw a Cross Chop, they cannot get to a Rock Slide before we farm them down. And they obviously must not have realised that and threw their phone out the window because they quit there. GG to my opponent there. It's unfortunate when you misjudge a charge move by that amount and lose the energy for sure. So that is where I'm going to leave this video for you guys. I'll leave you guys with this matchup against the Abomasnow lead, which is obviously absolutely abysmal for us. And drop a comment down below. Let me know how you guys are getting on in Ultra League so far. Let me know how you're dealing with the sudden influx wave of XL Pokemon that are now starting to take over and dominate the Ultra League. I'm starting to think that Drifblim is my absolute favourite pick for Ultra Premier. In general, it's just so strong and so bulky. Let me know if you guys have any favourite picks, anything that you really love using in Ultra League. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.